Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. Now, for anyone who's just joined this, it's the first time you've ever been to one of my live chats, the format is very, very simple and easy, and I'll just explain that to you now. If you've got a question about the British royal family or anything else you'd like to tell me for that matter, then find the comment section that you can see. There should be a comment box somewhere on your screen. Type in your question, and I will try and answer it as best I can as soon as I get to your question. If there's a little bit of a delay, don't worry, I do always scroll back up and see what questions I've missed. If I really do miss your question, please type it again. So I wasn't able to make last week because I had a prior engagement. These chats are always live at 10 o'clock British time, that's GMT, and doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can find that time by typing in your time and comparing it to British time on Google. It's really easy. I've done it myself, so I know how that is. Now, I did preload up the chat window before, so I should be able to go straight into questions. So I can see Nina in the chat room, so big hello to Nina, and I can see Jamie. We'll talk about Jamie in a little bit because he's got some fantastic, exciting news to share with you all. I don't know whether Jamie wants to tell you all himself or he would like me to tell. Let me know, Jamie, and we'll see how that goes. So, as always, I have my list of things that I'd like to talk about, but this is your chat, and it's your chance to talk about anything that you want to. So before I go to my list, I'll always look at your questions first, and usually you're so good with your questions that you pretty much answer or ask everything that's on my list anyway. As always, I have my cup of tea. And I hope you all have your favourite drinks too. Now, please forgive me if I probably sip my tea a little bit more than normal. For the past 2 days, I've been really bunged up with a really bad cold. And in fact, even this afternoon, I wasn't feeling very well. But I perked up a little bit. So anyway, I'm back. I couldn't miss another week. I really did miss this live chat last week. And I realised how important this live chat is to me. And I really miss the conversations that I have with you guys when I'm not able to do it. So thank you for coming back. I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to make last week, but we're back. So I'm going to read out some comments already. Noreen saying hello and happy Easter. So hello and happy Easter to Noreen and anyone else who celebrates Easter. And if you don't celebrate Easter, just enjoy the chocolate. That's all I've got to say. Bruce Ferguson says, isn't it like 10 p.m. in England? It's 2 p.m. in Western Canada. Yes, Bruce, you're absolutely correct. It's late here, but I decided that this was the best time to capture as many people from around the world as possible to be involved in the live chat. So it's late for me, but it was a good time for everyone else. So that's why I decided on this time. Van Al says, hi there, you look wonderful as usual. Thank you very much. Kevin says, hello, brother. Hello to Kevin. It's Kevin Clements. Noreen says, yes, it's 10:04 p.m. here in England. Liz says, hello from Louisiana. Hello to Liz in Louisiana or wherever you are from. Jamie says, give me one of them lint bunnies. Yes, if you mean my lint bunnies, I have two, and I have a gigantic Easter bunny. My nan gave me a gigantic Easter bunny, which I've been saving until tomorrow. QH10 says, hello, diving into my first live chat, but I've been enjoying them for months. Well, welcome to your first one, and please do get involved. Liz says 4:04 in Louisiana. Kevin says happy Pascha. Pascha? Is that the one? Yes, Pascha, which is the Orthodox Easter. Please forgive my ignorance, but Pascha, there you go. I've learned something new. Nina says, love the videos you did this week. Thank you very much. We'll talk about those in a bit. Kevin says 5:05 here in Miami. Wow, I'm just thinking how wonderful it would be to be in Miami right now and the weather. Wow. Liz Tatum says, love the Royals, as do we all. That's why we're all here. Van Al says it's been busy for the last 2 weeks for the Royals. Yes, it has. I've been incredibly busy, which is with work as well. So I've had last week off work. It's my Easter holidays. But before then, it was so busy. I didn't get a chance to make many narration videos. I know you all enjoy those. But I have been trialing different video formats rather. As you know, I have my new phone. and I now have access to iMovies, which I didn't have before, or I didn't know how to before. But anyway, it came preloaded on my phone. So I've been dabbling in how to use iMovie. So some of my videos I've made using iMovie, some I've made using my traditional app that I've been using. So please let me know what you think about the different video formats. And I've also managed to know how to upload proper video footage that I can find. So I wondered what you thought about those. Have you enjoyed looking back at previous royal events, like the wedding vows of Catherine and William for their wedding? Please let me know what you think. I always love to hear what you guys think. 506 in Ohio says CH10. Bruce says, looking forward to talking about the Queen of Canada, of course, as are we all. And if you've noticed, Bruce, look what I'm wearing. Can you see? Kimberly says, hi, thank you for the stream. You're welcome, and please enjoy. Jason Lewis Young says, evening, Elliot. I'm working tonight again, but you always manage to get on the chat even though you're working. Happy Easter to you and everyone. I'll keep dropping in, as I know you do, but you'll catch up later. Well, let's wish Jason a very happy shift at work, and when he pops back, let's say a big hello to him. Kimberly says, is the rumour true about Kate and Meghan? I'm sorry, Kimberly, I always have to change Kate to Catherine. It's one of my pet hates. And I really do. In fact, I think it's the fault of the media, because the media keep on calling her Kate, and her name isn't Kate, it's Catherine. And I even checked that out because there was a video, a home video footage released of a wedding where Catherine and Pippa were very, very small. And their family referred to her as Catherine, even back then when she must have been about 7 or 8. So it's definitely Catherine. The media has it wrong. And I wish I could smack their wrists. I really do. But anyway, Catherine, is it true that the rumour about Catherine and Meghan that they are both pregnant? I don't think Meghan would be pregnant. Again, her real name is actually Rachel, but let's not even go there. So I don't think Meghan is. Catherine, we don't know. She may be, but there's always rumours about Catherine being pregnant. And until we see an official announcement, which is usually 3 months in the first trimester, we will not know for sure. So until then, until we get official confirmation, it is complete rumour, I'm afraid. Have to disappoint you. Noreen says, Maple Leaf Brooch, is it a Canadian thing this week? It is because of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. And I confess, I didn't know too much about the Battle of Vimy Ridge until there was the service. So I'm wearing this in honour of the Battle of Vimy Ridge. And I hope you guys know a little bit more about it than I do. I learned about it through the royal involvement in the service. But I'm sure you guys from Canada know a lot more about it than what I do. But this is my tribute, and I'm sure the Queen has probably at some point worn this week too. Jamie says, I prefer the voiceover on the iMovie videos. Yes, I did notice that. But with my normal app, I like to flick through my pictures so that when I'm ready to move the picture on, I move it on and then I talk about the picture. But with the iMovie one, it's a little bit different. You have to, in a way, reverse it, and you have to do the voiceover first, in a way, and then make the pictures match the voiceover, which is a lot more work. So because I've been a little bit poorly today, I did my old narration style on the old app because I know how to use it and it's easy and it's simple. But I will experiment with the iMovie on the narration too, if that makes sense. Kevin says, Elliot, loving the vids this past week. Can you tell us if Princess Alexandra's health is okay? She has been ill the past 3 months, I believe, and I didn't know. It was kept very, very hush-hush, but she hasn't been doing engagement. But I think she's back on the mend now. And I heard, I think she's back doing engagements. I think she did her first one last week. So we wish Princess Alexandra a very speedy recovery. I'm sure she's still getting better, but I believe she's back to work. Bruce says, yes, nice. Kimberly says, okay, I like it better myself. And Kimberly says, my oldest daughter is Catherine. Lots of Catherines, and of course, Catherine being a very old royal name too. Lots of previous queen consorts with the name of Catherine. CH10 says, not QH10, it's an Ohio State University cheer. Oh, Ohio. Okay, so shall I call you Ohio, or do I have to chant? Noreen says, apparently Princess Alexandra is the favourite royal with the royals themselves. Well, I can't possibly speculate on who is the favourite of themselves. But yeah, she is up there, I think, with being well liked in the family. Jamie says, yes, Elliot, best not to get into rumours. I completely agree. Kimberly says, making a lemon meringue pie whilst you're watching this. Please excuse the typos. Don't worry, please. Oh, this might be a good time. You've reminded me, Kimberly. I do have Royal Reviewer on Twitter. So at any point during this chat, you want to send me a tweet, a picture, or whatever, just tell me that you sent it on here, and I will check my Twitter periodically and see what I get. So if Kimberly wants to send me a picture of her meringue pie or her making it, then please do, and then we can all see it in the group. I do like this to be as interactive as possible. Will says, I'm late, what have I missed? Not much, we've only just basically got into it, and I've just been explaining to any new people about what we do here. So welcome, Will, and you're not really that late at all. Bruce says, I certainly appreciate that honour of Canadian soldiers at Vimy. It was the battle that defined Canada as a nation independent of England. Well, there you go. I mean, I didn't really know that much about it, I completely confess. But I have learned a lot more about it this week. And I think perhaps year on year, the remembrance of it may grow because this particular service was very well publicised. So I think the awareness of that particular battle has gone up because of the royal involvement in it, which is one of a really good thing about why the royals are great to be involved in a cause or a remembrance or a charity or an event, because they do raise the profile of it. Jamie says, yes, I ended up watching a documentary on Vimy Ridge after seeing the video. Again, yes, it piques people's interest, and it gets people going and perhaps into something that they didn't know even existed. So yes, that's a really good thing about royalty. Noreen says, Elliot, are you a nurse? You have that vibe about you, kind and caring. No, but close. I work in a special educational needs school, and there are people with disabilities, including physical disabilities. So I am involved a lot in that aspect of care and education. So you're on the right lines. I can't believe you got that from my vibe. Kevin says, I have heard that too, Noreen. Jamie says, what was she ill with? I don't know. I must confess. It was kept incredibly hush-hush, and I only heard the announcement that she was doing back to work, doing an engagement. So I'm afraid that's going to have to remain a little bit of a mystery. As with a lot of the royals' health, they do keep it very low-key. Freya says, have you seen Rain? Not an accurate portrayal, but I love the show. No, I haven't. And it's probably going to be another one of the Crown scenario where everyone talks about it. And I put myself off watching it because of fear of not liking it. But then when I watch it, I probably like it. So it's probably going to be another one of those. But I really did enjoy The Crown after putting it off and off and off and off and off. So maybe I might do the same with Rain. Jason Lewis Young says, HMQ is hiring again. Yes, I did hear. An £18,000 job advertised in the Sun for a trainee butler. No experience required. Live-in option available too. That would be an amazing job. And if I lived in London or close to London, I would probably go for that job myself. But I don't. I live in Shropshire, for those of you who don't know, which is basically in the middle of England, close towards the Welsh border. And it's a little bit far to commute, and because of family commitments and other things, I can't really move to London. So that's not really for me, but for anyone who lives close by or wants to relocate, that is an amazing opportunity. And if you do keep checking back to the Royal Jobs page on the Royal Family webpage, on the Buckingham Palace part of it, you will see lots of jobs advertised periodically, sometimes summer jobs, sometimes permanent jobs like this, and they are fantastic opportunities. They don't pay the best money in the world, but look at what you would get to experience. I mean, it would just be an amazing job. Will says, what's the rumour I hear about the Queen and Prince splitting up? I don't know. I haven't heard it, but whatever it is, it sounds like a complete load of bunkum. Bunkum being rubbish and fake news, I imagine. No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any truth in that whatsoever. I think that's just another one of those stories that the papers or the media are perpetuating in perhaps certain parts of the world to just sell papers and make money. That news certainly hasn't reached the UK, and I think that just about says it all. Noreen says, Will Dawson is here. Yay, the party has started. Yes, welcome to everybody. And if you've just joined us, please don't be shy, say hello. Even if you haven't got a question, just say hello or ask whatever question you've got. Jamie says, for Jason, is there a career change in the books? I don't know, who knows? Okay, so Jamie, did you want me to tell everyone about your news, or did you want to tell them yourself? Let me know, and I'll be quite happy to say it. The book club is still on, Backstairs Billy. I finished off the Margaret Rhodes book, but I haven't started Backstairs Billy. I know Jamie's probably well ahead and probably finished it already, but for the rest of us, the first 2 chapters, read them this week, ready for next week, and we'll talk about it next week. For those of you who don't know, we have a book club, and our current book is by William Talon, or about the life of William Talon, and it's called Backstairs Billy. So you should be able to obtain it from any good bookshop or e-reader. So read the first 2 chapters, and then we'll talk about it next week. Oh, and what did you all think about my new logo? This week I changed my logo from the Royal logo to a new one with a white background that says Royal Reviewer, and it's got a top hat and a moustache underneath. I couldn't find one with a beard, but it's got a moustache. Please let me know what you think about it. I could change it back if people didn't really like it, but I quite like it. I think it's quite fresh and modern, and I still think it goes with the whole royal theme and the British theme. So let me know what you think about that. Because again, if people don't tell me, I don't know whether you like it or not. And of course, we have to talk this week about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. The previous video I did one on the week, I think it was, where I didn't do the live chat, and I made the video about the fact that Meghan was preparing herself for real life because she dropped her blog called The Tig, which she called her passion project. So I thought it was really odd. I mean, who drops their passion project? Who closes it down if it's not for something really important? So I made a video on the fact that she was repositioning herself for royal life. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it, because I think it asks some important questions and gets some important ideas going about their relationship and the future of the British monarchy. I just realised I've not answered loads of questions because I haven't scrolled down, but I'll get to that in a moment. So Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. A lot of people were saying in response to that video on Facebook that it was all lies, that I was telling lies, that the relationship was off, and that Meghan's fans had been saying that the relationship wasn't on anymore. And I kept saying, no, it's complete. This is false. They're definitely on. And then this week, Prince Harry has flown out to Toronto to be with Meghan for Easter. So I was completely right. They are still back on. They've never been off. They've always been together. It was all lies about them splitting up. Wherever that came from, I do not know. But they are definitely on. And I do think Meghan is repositioning herself to be Harry's future wife. Let me know what you think. Now, let me just scroll up, because I think I've missed loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of questions. So, here we go. Kevin says, well, Her Royal Highness getting back on the mend. She's always been a favourite of his. Steve says, what type of funerals would royal cousins such as Princess Alexandra have? A regular private funeral, definitely not a state one. Sorry to have to skirt over your question, but I need to get through a few more. The idea of, Freya says, the idea of the Queen and Prince splitting up is hilarious. I completely agree. Freya says, who is designing Pippa's wedding dress? Now, I did have a picture of that. So I can probably tell you. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think I had a picture of it. If I haven't, then I know where the article is, and I won't be able to tell you until next week. Let me see. No, I haven't got the photo. I did learn this week who it was, but I can't remember. It's slightly obscure designer, but I will let you know. I will do a video on that. Freya says, what do you think the Queen should be buried in? Like one of her all-in-one suits, you know, the matching block colours, but black. Maybe a veil, some sort of, you know, veil over the head, perhaps something like that. Definitely not a, yeah, perhaps, yeah, like a skirt suit, I think. A black skirt suit, probably by Angela Kelly. In fact, they probably already have the outfit already. Jamie says, did I leave the door open? I don't think so. What do we mean about leaving the door open? That door? Freya says, where would you like to see Harry and Meghan get married? I think maybe the Chapel Royal or something like that. Something a bit more intimate, I think. Jamie's joking, said a coffin Freya. Of course, that's what she would get buried in. Ohio says, interesting information about Catherine. People have called her Kate for so long. It will take time to correct the error. Yes, but it's the same thing with Princess Diana. You know, forever people called her Lady Di. I mean, anyway, don't get me even started. Noreen says, I think that she thinks that I should apply for the trainee butler's job. Thank you very much. I would like to, but I've already said why I can't. Kevin says, awesome career, Elliot. Thank you for what you do for those who need extra help. Thank you very much. It is very rewarding, very hard work, but rewarding. Steve says, Princess Alexandra had a broken wrist. Well, there you go. Steve with his fact check. Freya says, does Meghan go by Rachel in private? I'm not sure. I think she changed from Rachel to be almost like her TV career name. But I hope that if she does marry Harry, she goes back to being Rachel. I quite like Rachel. Kimberly says, I thought The Crown was great, and I also love Victoria. Both great. I've watched both, and I've enjoyed them both. Nurse Nana says, hello, Elliot. I love your choice of chocolate bunnies. You do have a kind and caring vibe about you. Thank you very much. And I will really enjoy eating my bunnies. They're amazing. I really want to eat one now. Jamie says, Elliot, you don't need to commute. Why not? I'm in Shropshire. If I had a helicopter, that would be so much. Maybe William could come and pick me up in the helicopter every day and take me. Who knows? In my dreams. Freya says, if you move to London, we should be roommates. I can't move to London as much as I'd love to. Although I am planning a trip in the summer for my birthday. But I can't. I have lots of family commitments here. Jamie says, I could stay at the palace. Well, if only. Kimberly says, and thank you for talking about the stumpery. I thought it's magical. Yes, the stumpery. I spoke about that last week. That's the one at Charles's Highgrove home. He has a stumpery garden, which is basically roots of trees and rotting wood that grows ferns and fungus and all kinds of things like that. It's amazing. So if you get a chance, Google Prince Charles's stumpery. Stumpery. It's amazing. Kevin says, I saw Victoria and I loved it too. Jamie says, what news, Elliot? I haven't said anything. You know the news, Jamie, the letter you had from the Queen. Ohio says, yes, you can call me Ohio. Jamie says, book done 2 weeks ago. Jamie is an avid reader. I've seen his collection. He has loads of books the same as what I've got, actually. But I think Jamie bought them all in one go, if you don't know. So he's got a lot of reading ahead of him. But he seems a very quick reader. So I think he'll get through them okay. Kevin says, Elliot, is there any chance that Viscount Seven and his sister will ever take up their proper titles? Well, They are princes and princesses, technically, by right, but they weren't taken up. The Earl and Countess of Wessex, their parents, wanted them styled as the children of an Earl, which is Viscount Severn, and Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor. It's a mouthful. But when they're older, I imagine if they want to, it'll be their own choice, that they may adopt the title that they're entitled to. So who knows? Let's wait and see. Kimberly says, I think it's great. Freya says, your new logo is fabulous. Love it. I love your new logo, says Nurse Nana. Okay, so it seems like it's a big hit, so I think I'll leave it. And I'm really trying to whiz through these comments because I'm quite far behind. Jamie says, I'm on chapter 3 of Wicked Wit of Queen Elizabeth II. I have that one, but I haven't read that one yet. Nina says, I like the logo. Elaine says, I'm in Wales for Easter. I normally reside in a village in England. Well, I hope you're enjoying Wales. Which part of Wales? Will Dawson says, your new logo gives me life. Well, thank you very much. Kimberly says, kind of reminds me of Sherlock Holmes, but cute. I wanted a beard one, but I didn't have one. Bruce Ferguson says, I'm sorry I missed it. Is the book club reading the Margaret Rose, The Final Curtsy? It was, but most of us have finished that now. And most of us have either got or obtaining or currently reading Backstairs Billy. But that was the book we were reading, but we've moved on slightly. But please feel free to catch up and join us on Backstairs Billy when you can. Catherine says, hello everyone, sorry I'm joining late. Love your new logo. Thank you, Catherine. Jason says, I've dropped back in again, not sure if you've touched on it, but what did Jamie get up to in this week? Was it an invitation from the palace? Well, if Jamie wants me to tell what it is, then I will say. Freya says it reminds me of Poirot. Noreen says, not sure about the new monochrome logo. I like colour. Okay, so perhaps colour could be added at some point. Jamie says, don't like the new profile picture because I keep missing your posts as I'm not used to it. Yes, that's one of the difficulties with changing logo. But one of my reasons for changing it was because I've noticed a lot of people on Facebook use the same picture that I've used, apart from with the Royal Reviewer on, but that same image. So I wanted something a bit different. So that was the reason behind it, really. Elaine says, may look into Castle in Cardiff. Yes, I've been there. I've been to Cardiff Castle. When I stayed in Cardiff, I stayed on the bay in the big St David's Hotel on the waterfront. It's amazing. If you get a chance, please stay there. Kylie Minogue stays there too. So if it's good enough for Kylie, it's good enough for me. Cardiff Castle is amazing. Please go. They do it, but please take the tour because you have to pay extra for the tour, but please do. It's amazing. They have the old ruin, then they have the sort of 19th century one, but it's amazing. Please go. It's well worth a look. And the Queen has been there herself. So please go and have a look. Noreen says, I think Meghan probably had to close down the TIG for privacy reasons. No, I think it's more to do with the fact that when she marries Harry, and I do think it's that serious. In fact, I would stake my a lot on it that it will happen at some point. I think that she'll be forming her own royal website, or part of the royal website for her will be her charity work in that. So she doesn't need two. So I think she's closing it down to make space for a new one when she enters royal life. And I really, of course it is speculation, but I do think it's on the cards. Caroline says, hello Elliot, and hello to everyone else. Hello Caroline. Will says, do you think Harry is into bondage? Who knows? He was into strip poker. H.A. Bracken says, how did Harry slip into Toronto unnoticed? I don't know, but he was carrying a huge bag. Did you see the video that I put up? A humongous like duffel bag. It was huge. But he did sneak in very unnoticed. But I think the press saw him leave because they were there waiting to take pictures when he got there. So I think they must have known he left, but they were waiting to get pictures. Freya says, Will always ask what we are all thinking. And Noreen says, Will Dawson makes me giggle. Banal says, sorry, I have to go. My little kitty is passing away and I need to give all the attention to her. Well, that's made me feel real sad. I'm a lover of cats too. Yes, please go and please look after your kitty, and sending all of our love to your kitty. I feel sad. Oh, it's never nice. I lost several cats over my life, so I know how it feels. And a few years ago, I actually lost a cat to a road accident outside my house, and we didn't know that he'd even been hit by a car until a week later, when I put flyers through every letterbox around, and I eventually got a reply telling me that they'd noticed he'd been hit late at night by a car, and they'd put him in a bag next to the bins on bin day of all days. And then the very next day, before I even realised he'd gone missing, the bin men came and took my cat away. So I didn't even get to say goodbye. I didn't even get to bury my cat, because we normally bury my cat in the garden. So literally, I had a cat one day and then I didn't the next. And that was horrendous. So I know how you feel. So sending all my love. Mwah. Bruce says, Shropshire, my friend lives in Ludlow. He's Canadian, married to a British girl. I'll be visiting him. Looking forward to the haunted hotel. Yes, it's amazing. Please do visit. Jamie says, no, Elliot, you stay in the palace while doing the training. Of course you do, don't you? You live in the palace. But I can't. I have commitments here. Freya says, do you think it should stay the House of Windsor, or officially become the House of Mountbatten Windsor? Do you think there is a chance of Charles changing the name of the royal house? I don't have a problem with there being a name change. I mean, really, it isn't a dropping of Windsor. It's an addition. It's the addition of Mountbatten. So I don't really have a problem with an addition. So I'm quite happy for it to stay Windsor or to change to Mountbatten Windsor. And I think it would be a nice honour for Philip as well. Kevin says, thank you for the chat, Elliot. Have a very blessed Easter or Pascha tomorrow. You have to go now to start a barbecue for the pool party. Oh, Miami pool party. Oh my goodness. I wish I was there. Go and have a good time. Ohio says, I like the new logo. Sorry so late with feedback. Chat's moving quickly. It is. That's why I'm talking so quickly. I do usually take a bit more time with the questions. Will says, in my mind, Harry still has his Nazi uniform to role play with Meghan. Well, who knows? I mean, he does like a laugh. So if you're into that kind of thing. Steve says, have you ever been to Ludlow Castle? Yes, a long time ago from school. I was probably 11 or 12. So I have vague memories of it, but I think I have been. Nurse says, I hope that Harry and Meghan can be married and happy. Me too. Kimberly says, Meghan reminds me of Catherine in some pictures. They do have a similar look, and they're a similar age. Freya says, I've never been to Cardiff Castle. Could members of the royal family potentially live there? I know. It's not a private residence. They have been there to events. I mean, the Queen was in the big dining room or library that was converted. She has been there, but not to stay there, no. Nurse says, that's so sad about your cat. I know, it's always terrible when animals die, because they're part of your life and they're part of your family. Will says, do you come from a big family? No, very small. My father is an only child. I'm an only child. My mother only has one sister who only has one child, so I only have one cousin. So no, my immediate family is very small. Ohio says, the Harry and Meghan breakup narrative is fake news. I knew that, and I was trying to tell people that, but they kept saying, where's the proof? Give me proof, give me proof. And I kept saying, it's just a made-up story. But of course, I waited, and the proof came. Less than a week later, the proof came. Harry visiting Meghan in Toronto. What more proof do you need? So no, they haven't broken up. Noreen says, do you come from... Oh no, I've already answered that. I know that was for Will. So Noreen's asking Will, does Will come from a big family? Nina says, people thought they broke up because they haven't been seen together. That's because they've tried to keep their relationship on the down low. They've tried to keep it very, very secretive. And Harry's being very protective of Meghan, which again is another reason why I think it's so serious, because he wasn't that protective with Chelsea or Cressida. So that's why it is definitely more serious than any relationship he's ever had before. The fact she shut down her website further compounds that and makes me think that this year there will be some kind of engagement announcement. Now, William and Catherine announced theirs, I believe it was September or October time, with a wedding following in the spring of the following year. I think that format may be the same for Meghan and Harry. We will have to wait and see. Jamie says, my aunt-in-law, childminder, acting grandmother had a cat for 10 years when I was younger. She had him through her husband, my uncle's death in 2010, and the cat died of leukemia in 2013. 10 years is a very good age for a cat. My two childhood cats, one died when he was 20. That is, my mum and dad had him before they had me. So he died when he was 20. My other childhood cat died when she was 16, but that was only because she had a brain hemorrhage because she was hit by a car. So I think she would have gone on longer as well. See, it's a fine Shropshire air. My current cat is 4 years old, and my slightly older cat is 7. And the one who passed away when he was 4. Bless him. Jamie says, I remember being with my aunt when we buried the cat in a small hole in the middle of the lush countryside, miles away from any house, near a forest. It was so sad. I have a pet graveyard. I confess, I'm a little bit like the Queen. The Queen also has a pet graveyard, and I have a pet graveyard at the bottom of my garden. And all of my cats, apart from Billy, who was put in the rubbish, is in the garden. So I can go down there and, there's a big camellia bush over them. So they're planted under the camellia bush. And it's a lovely spot to go and remember them by. Will Dawson is 20. Nina said, my cat is 16. Jamie says, it was extra sad due to the fact of it being with her through her husband's dad. Yeah, it's always sad when beloved animals die. Noreen says, yes, I was 6 when he died at 9 months old. I couldn't talk about it for years without crying. And Nina says, poor Billy. My poor Billy. Okay, another big thing that happened this week was the Maundy service, going back to the Easter theme. So the Queen every year visits cathedrals. This year she visited Leicester Cathedral, which means that she's now visited every single cathedral in the UK, which is an amazing feat in itself. And she distributed Maundy money. This time it was 90 pence for 90 people. The coins are special. If you look at the video I made, you can make out that they are different and they are quite special coins. It's a long-standing tradition dating back to 600 AD, I do believe. Elizabeth I started, I think, the tradition of money because she didn't want to give away her dress, which was the traditional Maundy thing to do, was to give away your clothes, I do believe. So that's how the coins came to be. So I hope you all enjoyed that. And of course, the Queen was looking splendid. I did think that she's lost a little bit of weight. Please let me know what you think. But she still looks fantastic and healthy. But I do think she's lost a little bit of weight. Okay, let me go back up. Freya says, if the Queen, Charles and William died all of a sudden and George was suddenly king, how would that look and who would be regent? Well, it would fall to the councillors of state. I'm off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure who they are, but they do help form the Regency Council. So it would be the Regency Council who would appoint the regent. It could be Catherine. Catherine could be regent. Possibly, if she was appointed. Then again, it could fall to the Duke of York to be regent. So I'd imagine it would be one of those two. It would either be Catherine as the mother, or it would be the Duke of York, Prince Andrew, I believe. But let's hope that never happens. Robin says, greetings from Orlando. Greetings from Orlando. Jamie says, I have a dog that's 9 years old. I got her for my 7th birthday. And she was diagnosed with a dog with MS a month ago. Oh no. That's really bad. Let's hope that your dog has a very happy remainder of his life and can be as comfortable as possible. Noreen says, I'm old enough to be Will's mum. Yeah, you probably are. And I'm getting old enough to be his dad, believe it or not. I'm probably a few years off, 2 or 3 years off being able to be Will's dad as well. I'm definitely old enough to be Jamie's dad. Catherine says, I've never heard about the Maundy service. That was very interesting. Thanks for the video. You're welcome. Again, if we can educate people on the different customs and traditions, then that's a really good thing. Oh, by the way, please let me know if ever I go really, really white on the video, purely because I'm not watching the screen that I'm on. I think I'm okay, but if I do go really, really white, it happened once, but it happened really early in the video, so I spent the entire video looking pale like a ghost. So if I do go pale, please let me know. I've just checked, but I'm okay. Okay, now to skip a few questions. Kimberly says, do you know when the Queen's carriage was made? Which one? They're all different. There's the Golden State, there's the different state landos, there's loads of different carriages. In fact, that was one of them. It's on my list to do a video on the different carriages. Elaine says, I even think they could marry before the year is out. That's Harry and Meghan. I don't think this year. I think announcement this year, wedding next year. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. There could be no announcement. It is just speculation, but the clues are there. And if you watch my video on it, the one where Meghan repositions herself to be a member of the royal family, you will see that I've highlighted the different clues. And that when you put them together, they do make a picture. And I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't think it was true. Jamie says, the Queen's cheeks have gotten a bit less chubby in the last 2 years. I think in the last few months, she's lost a little bit of weight. Nina says, I heard the Queen is putting her gifts on display. Yes, so every year at the palace, there's a different display. Some year it's dresses. One year it was children, toys of royal children. This year it's gifts. So the Queen is given gifts when people visit her, when she goes on tours. And although she can technically use the gifts, they aren't hers. They're held on behalf of the nation. So they're stored away. If she does want to use them and have them on display in her personal quarters, she can. But they are gifts of the nation held in trust, and she's decided to display them, or some of the more interesting ones. So the display at Buckingham Palace is royal gifts. So if you head on down there for the summer opening session, you will see the display on royal gifts, which will be very interesting. Hopefully, when I go, that's what I'm going to see. Will says, should I start calling you mum and dad? No, please don't. No, definitely not. Freya says, Catherine would be the best regent as she would have George's best interests in mind, being his mother. I would have to agree. Then again, you could also have a co-regency. You could have the Duke of York and Catherine. It's not unheard of, but let's hope it never, ever, ever, ever happens. Jamie says, Will, you're old in my eyes. How nicely put. Steve says, could Harry be regent? Possibly, but being a similar age to Catherine, I probably think Catherine would be better placed as the mother of George. Kimberly says the Golden State one. I believe it's 70. I need Steve on fact check. The Golden State carriage. I think it's the 1700s. I'm sure it's something like 1770. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I do think it's 1700s. Please check, Steve. But yes, it is really beautiful. And if you go to the Royal Mews, which is right next to the palace, that is on display permanently. Junior left me a lovely message. Thank you, Junior. And Jamie says, I'm so sad the Royal House of Windsor's TV programme is over. I really enjoyed that every Wednesday. Now, I've been watching this backwards. So I watched the last one last night, and I really enjoyed it. Again, it's one of those things where I thought, what's it going to be like? But I watched it, and it was very well done. So I will watch all the others. So I watched the last one. I did tape them all. In fact, why am I saying tape? We used to have videotapes back in the day. I still say tape. I should say record. I'm showing my age. But yes, I recorded them, so I have them all to watch. But the last one really made me think, because it was saying about Charles and how the monarchy is going to be under him and what he'd like to see. But one of the things it highlighted was the fact that when he was younger, how much he wanted to be free and how much he wanted to do normal things, like go to university and meet people and meet the disadvantaged. And I thought to myself, when Diana was alive and he was with Diana, people were saying how progressive Diana was in making sure that William and Harry went to theme parks and went to visit the homeless and tried to have a normal upbringing as possible. But actually, I think Charles was also completely in agreement with that. And in that sense, I think Diana and Charles were compatible. I think the area where they weren't compatible, of course, was both being two fairly needy people. Diana needed to be loved and needed constant attention. Charles also needed to be loved, needed validation, but they both couldn't give that to each other. So I don't think any of their differences were around the upbringing of the children. I think it was just that they were too similar in the fact that they needed support themselves. And of course, they both couldn't give each other the support. That's not wrong. It just happened that it didn't work out. And I think Camilla was able to give Charles the support that he needed. Camilla being a little bit, I suppose, like the Queen Mother to George VI, being very stoic, being there behind the scenes, being a rock. Camilla offers all of that to Charles. Of course, Charles being very sensitive and thoughtful, just like George VI, almost needing a bit of a mother figure. And of course, Diana wasn't a mother figure, and nor should she be. I mean, when she entered marriage, she didn't expect to have to be a mother. So she didn't have to be a mother figure for Charles. But that's what he needed. And she also needed that attention. They both weren't able to give each other that attention. I think that's ultimately why their relationship fell apart. But I think on the bringing up of the children, I think they were very similar minded because of how Charles was himself when he was young. And I learnt that from that documentary. So yes, it was a very, very good one. And I think now that I've rambled on and on and on, I've missed a load of questions again. Let's go back. So, just scrolling back, a bit about the carriages. Noreen says, I think Harry seems very kind and caring. I think he's most like his mother in personality. Yes, but I think facial, I actually saw, when I watched that documentary, Charles pulled a face exactly like Harry. I think Harry does pull some of Charles's expressions. Have a look, it's quite interesting. Will says, Junior, tell us what you really think. Yes, please do. Or maybe don't. Maybe I should get a visual bleep machine. Jamie says, I'll send you pics from the palace. Thank you very much. So Jamie's got an invitation to a garden party, which he found out this week. That's amazing. So when I told you all to start writing to the palace, Jamie sent a picture that he made of the Queen, which he showed us in the chat, which is very good. And they sent a reply back, but they also sent a separate invitation to a garden party in July. So that's amazing. It just goes to show, just do it. Just write to the palace, write to the Queen, write to your favourite royal. You never know what you might get back. So hopefully Jamie's going to be our roving reporter and take lots of photos and pictures and whatever, and I will put them up. Catherine says, will the display of royal gifts be online? There may be press coverage pictures, but not in detail, I don't think. So you'll have to go to the palace and see that. Bruce says, is there much of a movement in England about republicanism? An underlining squeak, I would say. There's a squeak of republicanism. I can't even say, I don't even want to say the word, but yes, there's a squeak of it. But most people, I think if there was ever a referendum on it, I think most people would choose to maintain the monarchy. Freya says, did you go to university? If so, which one? I went to the Wolverhampton University. Kimberly says, none of the show? No, name of the show. That was it with the Windsors or something? I've only just started watching it, so I have to go up and have a look. It was the new show on Channel 4 about the Windsors. I forget the name. There we go. Steve, with his fact check, says that the coach was commissioned in 1760. There you go. Actually, I was really close. I said 1770. So there you go. So I should always trust my instinct. I did know, and it was indeed 1760. I really should trust my instincts. I do know more than what I think. Right. Bruce says republicanism seems to be a non-issue in Canada. I think more or less the Queen is well liked here, and I think the transition to Charles is going really well too. Will says, I want to forge Princess Anne's signature on a divorce petition and send it to Timothy Lawrence. You bad boy, you can't do that. Noreen says, England was only a republic for a short time under Cromwell. Was it 11 or 12 years, something like that? I would be very surprised if it ever became a republic again. I completely agree. I think we have a very good system of governance. Beck says, sorry I'm late, it's still only 5:45 here. Yes, I know, it's very early for Beck because of the time change that we had. So she's an hour behind what she used to be. So welcome, Beck. And we still have a fair amount to go of the chat, so don't worry. Bruce says, I do love Charles and his work on architecture, young inner city kids, organic gardens, his love of the environment, and also the arts. I think that he is so often underestimated. Watch the video I made on him being the new Renaissance Man of the Year, and he made a speech on it. So please watch that video. It's only a few videos back. But yes, again, that goes back to my point of him being a very conscientious person and a very conscientious king, which I think he will be. Freya says Diana and Charles would have been great friends had she lived. I think things would have moved on, and I think round about 2005 Camilla and Charles would still have got married even if Diana would have lived. And I think at that point it would have been a good time to address Diana within the royal family. I think it could have been a good time for the Queen to issue letters patent to give Diana back the HRH by saying that any divorced parent of a future monarch should retain the HRH. I think Diana could have dropped the Princess of Wales title and been given something different, maybe a Duchess title of her own right, or being made a Princess of the United Kingdom. So she could have been made a Royal Highness Princess Diana of the United Kingdom and then drop the of Wales. Camilla wouldn't have been known as Princess of Wales because of Diana obviously having that title. So she would have still been Duchess of Cornwall, and I think that Diana could have been welcomed back into the fold and carried on with royal life, which I think Diana ultimately wanted. But of course, that's all pie in the sky. We will never know. But I think that would have been a likely scenario had she lived. Jamie says the Golden State coach was commissioned in 1760 for £7,562, or 1.8 million in today's money. Wow. And was used for every coronation since George VI. And yes, it was a lot of money in those days. And it was indeed the 1700s, like I said. I said 1770, but it was 1760. I wasn't far off. Noreen says, yes, I agree that Charles will be a great king. He is sadly underrated by too many people. That was another point on my list. Now, what I wrote down was Charles and Camilla successful tour of Europe. So they've just had a very successful tour of Europe where they visited Romania, Italy, Florence, all these different places. And it was very successful. And I think he's becoming a lot more easy with people. He's a lot more touchy-feely. He doesn't mind hugging people in public. There was some touching pictures of him hugging, I think, local Romanian children. And he just looked so at ease and so natural. And Camilla looked amazing too. And I really do think that they are coming together as a couple to be a future king and queen. And I think people now are looking at them and seeing them in their future roles. I think a lot of people can see that now. Okay, I'm just scrolling down the screen because again I've missed loads of questions. Jamie says, UK a republic, yuck. I completely agree. Happy Easter to those people who have just joined us. Let's go. Jamie says, Elliot, we don't talk about the end of the chat. Did I mention the end? I don't think I mentioned the end, did I? Oh, I did. I said about that we've still got loads of time left. Don't worry, we've still got quite a bit of time left. Noy says, Jamie, I am well gelled. Well, I think we're all really, really jealous, but Jamie's going to he's promised to take lots of pictures or video footage or anything. And if you do get a chance to meet the Queen, please tell her about us. Kimberly says, have you ever been to the estate of Beatrice? No, I haven't, but again, that's another thing I would love to see. Noreen went to Swansea University. And Ohio says, regarding Prince Charles, do you think he has inserted himself, albeit surreptitiously, into politics, if for so long that it will be difficult for him to be neutral? Yes and no. Yes, he has been inserting himself into politics. I think he does see the separation of role. Technically, as Prince of Wales, there is no official role. As monarch, there is a defined role. I think he knows what they are very acutely. I think he will just do it differently. The way that you can influence things as monarch is more symbolically. So the charities that you endorse, the work that you do, the visits you make, the speeches you make, even though some of them are written by the government, by the palace, where you target your efforts can push things in a direction, and I think he will do that. Also, the prime ministerial weekly chats that he will be having weekly with the Prime Minister of the day give him a lot of influence. He has the right to be consulted, and he has the right to ask questions. So in a way, he will have more political power than he's ever had, more influence than he's ever had. He will just direct it differently. So I think that's how he sees it, and that's probably how he will do it. But publicly, yes, he will be neutral. Jamie says, will not the place to make moves. Have I missed something? What did... Oh, I see. Mum's the word. Freya says, Baldwin Stewart sounds incredibly classy. It does indeed. Noreen says, Freya, I think you came across as very intelligent and thoughtful. Where did you go to university? Jamie's got his cola. I've got my tea still, and I'm still taking sips because of my cold. So if I've gone a bit nasal, it's probably because I've bunged up again. Freya says, thank you, Noreen. I went to Regency University in London. Nurse Nana says, happy Easter. Happy Easter to Nana. Nurse Nana. Steve says, there seems to be a lot of talk in the media recently about what will happen following the Queen's death. Should anything be read into this? No, because the Queen Mother's death, I think, was planned from when she was 75, and it was rehearsed every single year. The same is happening for the Queen. They've got the plans. It will be rehearsed. So it's just ongoing. Every detail will be planned. Every detail is known about if she dies overseas, if she dies at Windsor Castle, if she dies at Sandringham, if she dies at Balmoral. Everything is planned. How long it will be, what the funeral will be like, even down to the music, and some of the guest list will already be planned. So no, I just think it's quite sensible to make plans into what will be a huge state occasion. Nina says, you missed my question. How do you write to the royals? Well, first of all, choose a royal. So if it's the Queen or Prince Philip, you send your letter to Buckingham Palace. If you want to send it to Prince Charles, you send it to Clarence House. You can send Princess Anne or the Duke of York or anyone else. You can send to Buckingham Palace. William, Catherine, and Harry are based at Kensington Palace. So you use the Kensington Palace address, and then you just choose your royal and send off. Okay. So as always, if you're new or you've just joined us, if you've got a question, please leave it in the comment section, and I will try and answer you as soon as possible. Noreen says, I think the Cambridges in Paris and Charles and Camilla in Europe is to ease tensions because of Brexit. I think you might be right. I think the royal family excel at diplomacy, and that was a good move. Yes, they are our sort of soft weapon, if you like. But I do think, and I still would like to push for a new royal yacht or a new royal trade ship, as it could be known, to send around the world, to send various royals around the world to get trade and bring it back to Britain post-Brexit. I think it's a great idea. Boris Johnson, the foreign minister, is also pushing for this, and I really hope it happens. Dana Zogues says hello to Dana. And Jamie says, I don't think I would recommend to the Queen to watch this chat. I'm sure she doesn't want to talk about the death and funeral all the time. I'm sure she doesn't, but at the same time, I'm sure she's been heavily involved with the planning of her own funeral. And although not wanting to be reminded of it all the time, I'm sure she knows that other people will talk about it. Kimberly says, Elliot, do you get all the replicas jewellery, pins, or is there more? I love seeing you wear the pins. There is so much more. If you go to the Royal Collection website, which is the official shop, there are replicas, lots more replicas. There's the flame lily brooch. There's the Australian wattle, which I really want to get next. But they're very expensive. I mean, this one I think was, 65 or 80 pounds. Some of them were 80. One was 55. I did do a video where I opened them. So if you scroll back to my product opening folder on YouTube, you will find the videos of me opening them. And yes, I like to wear them at every single chat, and there are loads more I want. There's also, is it Royals and Regalia? They've got a website which sell replica jewellery, and there are lots I'd like to get, but it's just money. I mean, they just cost quite a lot of money if you add it all up. Bruce says, I heard the princes are not necessarily, oh, hang on. Let me start that again. Bruce says, I heard that princes are not necessarily princesses. Princesses are not necessarily princesses, i.e. Diana was not a princess, just styled as a princess. Okay, I did make a video on it, but I can't remember which one it was that I said it in. But basically, if you are not born a princess and you marry a prince, technically you are prince, princess, and then the first name of your husband. So Diana would have been officially Her Royal Highness Princess Charles of Wales. But because Charles was the Prince of Wales, she became the Princess of Wales. But she wasn't technically Princess Diana. Just the same as Princess Michael of Kent, of course, her name isn't really Michael. That's her husband's name. But because he doesn't have any other title, he hasn't got a dukedom, he hasn't got an earldom, the only title she can be called is the Princess Michael. So if Meghan or Rachel married Harry, if he wasn't given a dukedom, she would be known as Her Royal Highness the Princess Henry. And that's how it works. Marilyn says, I hope you have a happy and blessed Easter. Thank you very much. Dana says, I love the pin. Will says, would you like to see Princess Anne and Timothy Lawrence get a divorce? Only if they want to. It's entirely up to them. To be honest, I'm not really particularly bothered either way. Just do whatever makes you happy. That's what I would say. Jamie says, I'm sure the Queen secretly hates the funeral planners. You could ask her when you meet her. Dana says, lint bunnies, my bunnies. Shall I get one? Oh, look, it makes a jingle noise. Can you hear it? Ooh. It seems a shame to rip the head off and eat it. Really cute. I love them. And of course, my big, massive Easter bunny. Can you see the big one at the back? He's huge. Nurse Nana says, I hope you're feeling better soon. Allergy season is in full swing in the States. Well, I think I've had a bug. My nose has been really thick with horrible gunk. It's been disgusting, although it's cleared up a little bit today. My tummy's been queasy. I've had a thick head. But I managed to be perky for now, which is the main thing. So I slept this afternoon all the way through. I made a video really late, and then I managed to hop on chat, and I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm still feeling a bit, I can feel myself getting more and more bunged up as the chat goes on. Kimberly says, I watched that one. I loved seeing your face when you opened each box. You were like a kid at Christmas. Yes, it felt that way. And I really want some more. I really, really, really want some more. Freya says, I like Timothy Lawrence. He's a big, old, huggable goober. I've never heard him described as that before. Noreen says, I think Lord Dawson has mummy issues for Princess Anne. I would not like to even speculate. Will says, I love Princess Anne. It's another story with Lawrence. Beck says, I agree, Kim. Watching Elliot open the brooches was a highlight. Can't wait to see him open the Australian wattle. Well, I need some money to open it, to get it. I really do. Susan says, is Prince Charles living in Vlad the Impaler's castle and renovating it? Do you mean the one that he was supposed to have bought in the middle of a forest? Officially, they denied that he's bought it. He does also stay in Transylvania once a year, but I don't think he owns anything. Oh, he does own something in Romania or Transylvania, but I don't think it's a castle. Bruce says, I'm fascinated at the story of the Queen's uncle, Prince George of Kent. Have they made a biographical movie of his life? I don't think so. But yes, I think you're right. Maybe they should. Ohio says, divorce, death, funerals, regents. This is a tough room. It is, but very interesting. In fact, my video about the royal grave site at Frogmore with Wallace and Edward has gone over, I think it's 48,000 views already. So death sells. What can I say? People find death interesting. Freya says, Prince George of Kent had a role in Upstairs Downstairs. He was very interesting, entertaining rather. Nurse Nana says, you're doing great. Thank you very much. Are you a real nurse? I think I need you. Jamie says, kind of immature, but I'm still a kid, so I can be. What if the Queen was asked a question like, what size is your bra? Serious question. Well, she does have Funny you should say it. She does have an official brassiere fitter. So someone is appointed to the Queen. It was out. I totally forget who, but someone does have a royal warrant. There is a royal warrant to a brassiere fitter. So obviously that highlighted the fact that she was the Queen's brassiere fitter. So she does have them specially made to give her the support that she needs. Of course, I can't speculate on size, but I can confirm that she has the correct support. There you go. Serious question and a serious answer given. Bruce says, yes, sorry, Freya. Freya says, sorry, I was correcting myself. Jamie says, yes, Freya, I suffer from that too. I think we all make typos. Dana says, that was a great video about Edward and Wallis. Thank you very much. Will says, Holiday Granger should play Sarah Ferguson in The Crown. And of course, Camilla will be in, not the actual Camilla, but the character Camilla will be in The Crown. Dawn says, hi, washing Easter dinner dishes. Missed everyone, happy Easter. Well, welcome, Dawn, and I hope your dishwashing goes okay. Kimberly says, buy some local raw honey and take at least 1 tablespoon a day. It helps my oldest with his allergies. I do have some allergy tablets and I'm feeling really bunged up now, as you can probably hear. But Sudafed works. If you've not tried over-the-counter Sudafed, please do. It completely decongests you. Well, it does with me. So after this chat, I will be taking one because I'm feeling really bummed. Jamie says, I think Junior typed then realised he was in the wrong chat room. Who knows? Marilyn says, Elliot, your answer about the brain was hilarious. Jamie says, all of Elliot's videos are great. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for still watching them. Freya says, Sam Claflin should play young Prince Charles. I don't know what he looks like. I'll have to Google it. Oh, about the bra. Yes. Yes. Well, it's true. She does have her own bra fitter and she has all the support she needs. John Yogi says, is there any reaction about the biography on Prince Charles? Well, I looked at, there was a quote from the Sally Bedell Smith biography on Charles. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember thinking, what a complete load of tripe. And where on earth has she got that information from? I forget what it was. If I find it again, I will let you know. But I will not be reading that book because she said something that I just completely thought was totally untrue. And I don't know, I didn't think it was right. I forgot what it was, but no, I will not be reading that book. Dana says, I do wish that Camilla could have some work done to look more refreshed. She looked great during a recent tour. The black and white outfit was the best, and the red gown. I think she has her own unique look. I don't think we'll be seeing her down Harley Street anytime soon. Bruce says, great, take care of yourself and your health. So you're off, Bruce, so have a good week. Same time next week, 10 o'clock GMT. Noreen says that Sally Bedell Smith book is badly sourced. There you go. That's what I thought. I read something and I thought, what nonsense. What tripe, as we say in this country. Jamie says, you didn't really answer the question about the bra, Elliot. You should become a politician. I tried once. Freya says, the Queen should wear animal print bras. Who knows what she has underneath? She might very well do. Will says, why animal print? The connections with Africa, maybe? Bruce says, so I learned a new British word, trifle. Tripe, T-R-I-P-E. Tripe, yes, it means BS. Tripe. It's a load of old tripe. That's what we say in this country. A load of old tripe. And that book, to me, is a load of old tripe. Beck says, Jamie, I think she'd respond like any woman. None of your business. Jamie says, maybe she does. We would never know. That's what I said. Freya says, all my male colleagues look there anyway. So I may as well make it interesting. Nori says, is Manuka honey from Australia? I think you can get it from different places, I think. Bruce says, oh, tripe, yes. Tripe, T-R-I-P-E, a load of old tripe. Beck says, yes, it is, Nori. Well, there you go, I've learned something new. Noreen says, tripe is an old-fashioned English word for BS, but it's also a dish. Some people eat it. It's the intestines mixed with blood and mangled up ears and lips and all that kind of nose of animals and all that stuff. Tripe. Ugh. Revolting. Jamie says, imagine the Queen had a jewelled bra to support her crown jewels. Well, I would probably say they're more like orbs. Her orbs. Noreen says, I might have to get some Manuka honey. I have a cold sore throat at the moment too. Mine is getting a bit bad, so I'm probably going to have to end the chat soon because I'm getting more and more congested as I go on. Dana says, a proper fitting brassiere makes or break how one looks. Camilla's dresses do a great job with, yes, those are hoiked to perfection. Definitely. A1 says, Kia ora from Tony, New Zealand is where from Manuka honey originates. Will Dawson says, I wonder if there is a quiet flirtation between Anne and Mark Phillips when they get together for family event. Who knows? We can only speculate on that one. Marilyn says, Elliot, you're becoming more relaxed with each chat and I love it. You have quite the sense of humour. Maybe it's my cold. And I do try and be very professional every single week. But perhaps with my cold, I'm just feeling like I need to get through. Not that this is a chore. It's not a chore. I really, 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 really missed last week's chat, which is why I'm here now, because I missed it so much. If it hadn't been for the fact that I had to miss last week's chat, I probably would have cancelled this chat because of not feeling particularly well. But I couldn't cancel this one because I've missed it so much. So here I am, and I am trying to get through as best I can with my cold and my bunged up nose. So perhaps, I don't know, I have been known to make people laugh in my workplace before. So maybe this is a little bit more me. Who knows? Nina says, get better, Elliot, and see you next week. See you next week, Nina. Junior says, what do you think of the Diana conspiracy theories that she was taking? I think they're a load of tripe too. Of course, with any tragedy, there is always conspiracy theories. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist myself anyway. And if I read the book about the Ken Worth, her former bodyguard, made, and he said, in his professional opinion, it was impossible for someone to have done that on that night because of the way that she wasn't expected to go to the Ritz. When she was at the Ritz, she left the Ritz and went to another place. Then they went somewhere else. Then they went somewhere else. Then back to the Ritz, and then they left to go back to the apartment. So nobody would have known that. Nobody would have known her movement. So no one would have known to have been there, to have planned, to have done it. So I think it's a complete load of tripe. Dana says Shropshire as in the Midlands. Yes, Shropshire in the Midlands, close to the Welsh border. Jamie says she would be well to have orbs at her age. Well, they're very well bejewelled. Steve says take care of yourself and finish chat early if you're not feeling great. I feel okay. I'm just really bummed. I feel like I'm sounding quite nasal. Kimberly says old-fashioned recipe of whiskey. I don't have any whiskey. I'm not a big drinker. In fact, I hardly drink anything at all. I've got lemon juice. I could try some lemon juice and honey. I do have some honey. It's not Manuka, but I do have some honey. Beck says I have been to Manuka in Australia where they make the honey. Are there two Manukas? I don't know. Dana says yes, the chat is great. It makes your channel unique. Thank you. I also like it because it connects me with the people that watch my videos, and it's nice to get feedback and Sometimes you guys give me some really good ideas. And I just enjoy talking about the royals with other people that are interested in the royals. It's very refreshing each week. And like I say, last week when I wasn't able to do it, I really missed it. Freya says, I'm going to Westminster Abbey for Easter. Wow. I'm very excited. Where does the Queen go for Easter? About 2 hours ago, I made a video about what the Queen does for Easter. So please watch that video. Everything about what she does for Easter is in that video. Where she spends Easter, what she does, some of the Easter type collections she has, what's going on in the royal palaces for children. Please take a look. Noreen says, I hope you'll feel better soon. Is there a chat next week? Yes, every week, unless I say that it's not going to be on. It will be on every Saturday, 10 o'clock GMT time. Sometimes I might know in advance that I'm not going to be here for a week, so I'll always tell you. If not, if I'm ill, for example, if I was going to have cancelled tonight's chat, I would have gone to Twitter, Facebook, and I would have tweeted that it wasn't going to be on. So if you want to check every week, I won't say that there's going to be a chat, but I will let you know if there's not going to be one. So take it as read that there will be a chat each week. If not, I will let you know on Facebook or Twitter, or in advance on the live chats. Will says, perhaps Princess Anne could date the King of Sweden. I wish we'd stop trying to date Princess Anne off. She might not want anybody. She might be perfectly happy with Timothy. We don't really know. John says, who would you like to see play the Queen as the crown moves along? That's a tough one. Of course, we know. Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. It's that sort of middle-age Queen that I think is going to be quite hard to cast. Who do you guys think? I can't think of anyone. Maybe someone unknown. Oh dear says, oh, Easter bunnies on the table. One for me. They're all for me. They're my bunnies. Eyes off my bunnies. Noreen says, I think the Queen has Easter at Windsor. Yes, she does. That's in the video. Jamie says, Elliot, why does the Queen not attend other events like former Queen Beatrix and Queen Margaret and sends Charles instead? Does she think she's better than them, even though she is? Do you mean events like foreign events? I mean, we know that she's cancelled her long haul overseas travel, so she doesn't do that anymore. I think she'll do short haul travel still. In terms of events, I mean, of course, she has such an immense workload. I think she's patron of over 600 charities still. And if she wants to touch base with each of them every year, that in itself is a lot of work. I think she's making small adjustments so that more people are coming to see her rather than her going to see them. Charles and Camilla and William and Catherine and Harry and some of the others are kind of deputising for her on certain events. I don't think it's because she thinks she's better than any other queens. It's just that's the way the sort of slow handover is going. A1 says, Elliot, you look and sound very unwell, and we, your audience, adore you for your wonderful efforts today. Go and hop in the steamy shower and clear those sinuses. Vicks on your chest and rest. Not a bad idea about the shower. I might do that. Kimberly says, happy Easter to all, and don't eat too much candy. Bye-bye and feel better. Well, I've got all those to eat, so we'll see. I might be a stone heavier next week. Steve says, I would love to find out more about Lord Mountbatten. That's Louis Mountbatten, and why he was so central to the royal family, and why did he have a state funeral. I might make a video on that. I might add it to my long list. Freya says, oh, you think Kristen Scott Thomas should be middle-aged queen. That's a good suggestion. And yes, Helen Mirren should be the queen in the sort of 70s, maybe. Jamie says, yes, John. Freya says, I hope poor Tim Lawrence never logs on to these chats. Me too. Jamie says, Elliot, I keep watching all your old videos. I can't get enough of your channel. I keep thinking to leave comments only to remember how old the video is. Yes, I now have close on 400 videos in less than a year. So that's quite immense. Jamie says, what's up with me? I've got a really bad, I think I've had a bug. I've got a bunged up nose. I've had a queasy tummy for the past 2 days. And I've had a really thick head. You know that feeling when you think you're going a bit wobbly and a bit faint? I've had that for a few days. So I spent all afternoon on the sofa lying down. But I couldn't miss this chat. I really wanted to be here. Oh dear says, would you comment please on the grand tour Charles and Camilla have just completed? I've already have. I think you've missed when we spoke about it. But also I've made loads of videos. There's a whole series, almost a day by day account of Charles and Camilla's successful tour of Europe. And there's also some compilation videos of the highlights. So please go back and watch those. And yes, it was a very successful tour. Dana says, I truly don't understand how it can be said the royals don't work. They're very hard working. Definitely. And if you know, for those of you that obviously follow my channel and anyone else just looking at the channel, you will get to see the amount of work that they do. And of course, there's been some commenters this week on some of my videos saying that the royals are the biggest scroungers on the planet. And I just literally pointed them in the direction of the Prince's Trust. And the Prince's Trust raised over 70 million in the last year for charities. So there you go. I mean, that kind of in itself, that's just one thing that the royals do for people. So for those people that say that royals aren't valued for money, that they leech off the state, just point them in the singular direction of the Prince's Trust. Jamie says, are the child abuse claims about Mountbatten true? I haven't looked into that, so I can't possibly comment. Beck says, Manuka honey is monofloral honey produced in Australia and New Zealand from the nectar of the Manuka tree. Just for your information, thank you very much. Anyone says, Elliot's pin is from the Royal Collection Shop. Yes, it is. It's the Canadian maple leaf brooch. It's a complete replica of the Queen's very own one. Will says, what would you do if you woke up and the Queen was in your bedroom? Oh, offer her a cup of tea and make sure she's well supported. Jamie says, yes, lightheaded. It's horrible. It is. Jamie says, I won't chat anymore, Elliot. Your health is more of a concern than my... Don't worry, I'm fine. Although it has been an hour and a half, so I will be going very soon. Noise says, I think someone should make me a fresh cup of tea. Well, I've drunk this one, and what's left is really, really cold. Oh dear says, when I think of the events the Queen takes in at her age, it makes me realise how lucky I am to be retired at a relatively early age and could do just as I please for the most part. Yes, I mean, still working full on at 90. Wow, how many people could do that? Dana says, have you thought about meet and greets in the future? I have. I would very much love to do a meet and greet on a cruise ship or something like that. In fact, I'd love to do talks, you know, in the big theatres in cruise ships and do proper presentations to, you know, an audience. I mean, this is, you know, we are an audience. We're all an audience for each other. But in the sense of like a theatre that they have on cruise ships, I'd love to do a meet and greet there and a presentation and almost like, this is a live chat, but what I mean is like a live in-person live chat where I could take questions from the audience that are actually right in front of me, talking about my presentation or just talking about anything, and then afterwards I could do, people could come up and do like a proper meet and greet. I would love to do that at some point. John says, in Canada, the cost of royalty is less than a cup of coffee. It's pretty much the same here. Jamie says, goodbye, Elliot. Recover and see you next week and have a voluptuous week. I'm not gone just yet, but I will very soon. Freya says we would have to pick cabin mates on the cruise we all go on. Yeah, maybe we should pick a big cruise. Oh dear says you need a few more cups of tea, rest and a hot steamy bath to clear the sinus. Take care and I will check in next week. Jamie says I'm still going to watch till the end and you wouldn't miss a second. Thank you very much. H.A. Bracken says I'm going on a cruise in about a month when I visit Scotland, England, Ireland and Guernsey. Is that the P&O or Princess Cruise tour of the UK where you go literally around the UK? I think I've seen that one. Noreen says lots of laughter at Will Dawson, saying that Noreen is his cabin mate. And Nina says Will, laughing at Will. I'm just going to check my list, see if I've missed anything off. I think there was one thing, two things, in fact. I'm going to mention very, very, very quickly. A Royal Caribbean one. I think I didn't see that as well. Kensington Palace has opened the new Princess Diana White Garden. So if you're in the area, if you visit Kensington Palace, it's the old sunken garden, but it's been replanted with white flowers and forget-me-nots. To honour the 20th anniversary of Diana's death. So that's now open. And another unprecedented move this week. Kensington Palace announced Pippa Middleton's wedding to James Matthews. Now, of course, Pippa is a non-royal. So this was completely out of the blue. It's the first time they've ever announced a non-royal's wedding. Yes, she's the sister of a royal, but she's not royal. They don't usually do this. It was very out of the blue, very unprecedented, and a complete break with protocol. But then again, there have been lots of breaks with protocol. Harry made the announcement, the official announcement about Meghan. Prince Andrew made an official announcement about the rumours surrounding his and Charles's feud. Lots of unprecedented things have happened this year, and this being the latest one. So we know that the wedding is going to be next month, I do believe. So stay tuned. I will bring you all the information on Pippa's wedding that I'm able to get. Oh, and thank you to Noreen for offering to make me cups of tea. Dana says the White Garden is beautiful. Why did they break with tradition with Pippa? Because they're not supposed to comment on non-royal members of the family, and Pippa is still non-royal. Freya says, Alex, you're such a wonderful, gregarious man, and your videos make my day all the more better. Thank you very much. Oh dear says, oh, the White Garden sounds lovely. I made a video on it, and there's there's a time-lapse video in with the video, so please watch that one. Do you ever do remote video? I haven't yet. Might be nice in rose season. Well, I do have a rose garden. I do collect David Austin roses. I have lots of royal David Austin roses, so a lot of the roses are named after princesses like Crown Princess Margarita and things like that. So maybe when my roses are blooming, I might make a video of my private garden. Pippa's wedding is May the 20th, and remote videos will be wonderful. When I go to London, I will make some. And yes, there is so much royal history all over Britain. And I will make a video of my rose garden when it's in bloom. But I did trim it. I did cut my bush back a little bit late this year. So they are starting to bud, but they still haven't, nothing's come of them yet. So I'd imagine I'll get a little bit of a later kind of display of roses this year. My Princess Diana memorial clematis, called Princess Diana, is doing really well. So I'll bring you updates on that. If you scroll back in my video playlist, in the Diana section, in the Diana playlist, you will see that I planted my Diana clematis last year, and that is a real live video of that, so please check that one out. Steve says, I think Pippa likes to think of herself as semi-royal. I think she's quite happy to be detached. And of course, James Matthew, her fiance, has just taken a £300 and something thousand pay decrease. because he's a hedge fund manager, and they have a £17 million mansion in London. So I think she's quite happy to be free from the confines of royal life, but to be on the fringes and to be involved wherever she can. Now, I'm going to leave this video here tonight. I'm going to have a drink of tea, possibly a hot shower, try and make myself feel better. I hope you all have a voluptuous week. Please watch my videos and like them and share them. It really does help to sort of spread the message and spread our values and spread who we are. So from me in Shropshire, have a fantastic week and goodbye.